Thank you for videos.
Cheers.
Right, I mean, it's the thing that really surprises me is how much material you've written. I mean, it's just Harris. It's like a Tweed factory.
Yeah, I think, well, it was, the first 3 albums, everyone else was so lazy, But now we've got, a couple of people help out, like, Bruce and Adrian write a fair bit, and I'm actually trying to get Davey into write a bit more now as well,
But do you think they're going to write in the same style that you write? Because you've got a very definitive way of writing. There's a very definite Iron Maiden storyline.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bruce and Adrian write pretty different, actually, but I think it's a good thing, because I think after a few albums, people maybe get a bit sort of not fed up with it, but it is a distinctive style, and, I'm always trying to do a few different pieces here and there,
Yeah.
But, it's nice to have someone else in the band who can write stuff that is a little bit different, just give a different angle to it,
We sort of dug into the archives when we knew you were coming in, and I've got these things in front of me which we call session sheets, right? They relate to the sessions that people have done. And I found this one that was about a session that was recorded on the 14th of the 11th, 1979 by Iron Maiden. And the tracks that you played in the BBC studios were Iron Maiden, Running Free, Transylvania and Sanctuary. And the members of the band then were Paul Di'Anno, yourself, David Murray, Tony Parsons and Doug Sampson. We've forgotten, actually, that Doug Sampson was ever even in the band. We always thought it was Clive Burr. Where are the rest of them? I know Di'Anno's working, and what happened? I mean, there's been quite a lot of changes. Is it the old thing you read in Sounds or Smash Hits? Musical differences?
A lot of it, yeah. A lot of it was because, they didn't like touring. We started touring a lot more, and, especially after we went pro, and, especially like Paul and, Clive and that, didn't like the touring, I still see, I think I saw Paul and Dougie the other night in the pub, 2 nights ago, in fact. So, we're still good mates.
Yeah. I remember seeing you at a gig in Germany, can't remember where it was, and it was just before Paul left the band. And it was pretty evident to me that he was, I think the word is knackered.
Yeah. I think he just, felt he'd been on tour too long, and it was just wearing him out, and he had enough, basically. He wanted to go home by that time, and, I think now he's had a bit of time off. I went to see his band the other night, and his new band, Battlezone, and they sounded really good, and he sounded really good, so he's getting back together now.
Gosh, do you really punish yourself with tours? I mean, the last tour was, I think, I worked out 322 gigs in 24 or 26 countries, something like that.
Yeah.
Which was just it's a phenomenal amount of touring, which must require a lot of discipline and early nights. Because you can't burn the candle or anything else at both ends, really, can you?
No.
Over that span of time.
We don't tend to burn the candle at both ends too much these days anyway. We're getting too old for that, but... No, we've done so much touring. I think it's, you sort of tend to go to clubs in the early days a lot, and you go out every night and start drinking it up and this, that and the other, and I think you just get fed, to be honest, you just get fed up with it, and so sometimes it's better just to have a night in watching the TV or something, believe it or not. And
my goodness, you must have watched a lot of televisions in different countries.
Yeah, true, yeah.
There was so many different television programs in so many different countries. Where do you like going to most? I mean, forget about here, home, but the rest of the world, the rest of this globe, where do you like to be most when you're touring?
America's good to tour, because, it's great audiences there, but I like going to Japan a lot, because it's not just for the audiences, but just because it's such a special place, it's just so different to anywhere else, it's always a buzz when you go there.
Raw fish?
No, I can't stand it.
Not into that?
No, I usually go down to McDonald's when I'm there, actually.
Go down to McDonald's anywhere in the world, can't you?
Yeah.
Let's face it. Okay, we'll talk more after this. This is by Jolyn Turner, who used to be, of course, program here, which is known as the Friday Rock Show, is Steve Harris from Iron Maiden, who's also, of course, of East London and the Osaka McDonald's. That's the joke about when you travel around the world. You suddenly discover, at least I do, when I get the opportunity to travel, when I get out of my bath chair, that is, that there's so many things in so many countries are the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely things like the McDonald's, but it's good for me because I tend to like junk food.
But also, I mean, the music too. There's music styles which exist within now so many countries.
Yeah, well, obviously, places like Japan, it makes you wonder because they obviously can't understand the lyrics. I mean, they can't speak much English, but I think it's just strong melody lines they go for, I suppose.
Yeah.
it's a bit weird, really, to understand how they, you know, or what they go for, really.
But they do sing along.
Oh yeah, I mean, they, you know, if you spoke to them afterwards, I mean, or something, they can't really speak much English, but they learn all the words.
They're incredibly enthusiastic, the audiences in Japan, but they're very regimented. They stay exactly where they are, don't they? There's no running down the front.
Well, actually, they're not allowed to, because a few years ago, I think someone got crushed or something to death or something at a Richie Blackmore concert, so they ain't allowed to actually come down the front. They've got to stand in their seats. So they just sort of stand and scream and shout and sing along and all that.
I know quite a number of people, the first time they go, say, to Japan on a tour, they get rather put off by the reaction, because they don't quite understand what's going on. And when, you know, they go to in the States, everybody goes, yeah, and sort of well potty, and here everybody runs to the front. Well, if they can get past the bouncers, they do. But in Japan, it is so regimented. They think for a while that nobody's taking any notice of them, and they're going down badly.
Yeah, well, at first, you know, we was a bit sort of taken aback by it, but we were actually told beforehand, you know, before we went out on the first gig, that it was going to be a bit like that, so it weren't too bad, but it still is very strange, you know. It takes a bit getting used to it, but, you know, it's great though.
When you do travel around the world, as you've just done, and how many times, in fact, have you been around the world now?
About, I think, 4 world tours now, I think.
Yeah. It's not bad in, what, 7 years?
No, not bad at all.
Oh, okay, that's good going. But when you do go around the world, I've forgotten what the question was. It's clever, isn't it? This is live radio, but at least I'm honest about it. When you do go around the world, do you vary the tracks that you play on stage, or do you keep the same music pattern?
It varies from, say, Europe to America a lot. In Europe we do like a 2-hour set, and we change numbers around because people tend to know all the albums, and so it doesn't matter what we play, and, you know, they get off on it, all of it. But so we got to America somewhere, like we didn't even tour there with the first album, and so we can't really sort of play too much of the old stuff, like say really early stuff, because they wouldn't know it. Well, a lot of them wouldn't, you know. So of course you've got your hardcores, but like everywhere. But we do vary it a bit. But once you get a balanced set and it feels really good, you tend to stick to the same set, and you maybe do 1 or 2 different numbers here and there.
Would you change the encores? Because you always get them.
Which they tend to be the same, actually. If we change anything, it's usually around about the middle of the set. You know, we might do 1 or 2 different numbers. Like Hammersmith, end of October last year, I think we did about, you know, 4 or 5 different numbers, you know, over the 4 nights or whatever, swapping a few things about here and there, and it's usually around about the middle of the set. So if I don't like it, we can sort of get over it and steam in with some of the old stuff at the end.
The music that I'm playing by Iron Maiden is your choice. You've asked me to play the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner from the double live album, which is out at the moment. 13 minutes of it. Now, it's 13 minutes. How long has it taken you? Maybe it's easier for you because you wrote the song, right? How long does it take to whack the band into shape so that they can remember 13 minutes of material? And maybe some nights it might go to 16 or whatever.
Well, we did actually rehearse it for quite a while, you know, before the tour, but it's, believe it or not, it's not that difficult to play, because it's like in 3 sections, you know, and you get a breather in the middle, you know, because it's sort of slow bit. Yeah. So, and Nico can have a breather as well in that bit, you know, he sort of tends to go off and do whatever he does around the back, I don't know. And so, you know, it's not really that difficult to play, really, you know.
That's what they all say.
Well,
until you start trying to play it, right, and then...
it's, you know, I think over a period of a tour, you know, it's like, it could be 15, 20 minutes long. I don't think it really matter, you know, if you're playing certain bits. I mean, you've got to know all the songs, you know, knowing certain bits of them, is it, you know. So, no, it's enjoyable to play, though, because it's got a really good mood to it, and it's like in the middle of the set where you can, you know, it's not just taking a breather, but it's just like, you know, the mood of it sort of brings the thing down, because we tend to go in and hit them hard with the first 3 or 4 numbers.
You could say that.
And then slow it down a little bit, and then build it out from there again.
First few numbers tend to elongate any theatre or auditorium you're in. Usually the back wall moves about 18 feet or 36 metres or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what they like about you, though, isn't it? I mean, you're really such a good attack band.
Well, we like to go out and sort of in between the eyes, first of all, and so, you know, you've got time to catch your breath.
Yeah.
But then after about 4 or 5 numbers, you know, you've got to bring it down a little bit, because the audiences, you can see them, they get tired, especially down the front, you know.
Yeah. And that was the rhyme of the ancient Mariner, rather. 13 minutes and a few seconds. That version is on the double album, which is called Live After Death, Iron Maiden. And my guest here on the programme is Steve Harris of Iron Maiden, the only original member that survives in the band. In fact, really, you put the band together. Oops, hang on, I didn't turn your microphone on. I haven't done a lot of live interviewing either recently, I tell you, so I'm sorry for that. Go on.
Yeah, originally, yeah, but Davey, Murray joined after about a year or something. Yeah. And so we sort of stuck together all through it, all the hard times and all that. We sometimes, sit down and talk about them. It's pretty funny, some of the old things that used to happen.
You're still football freaks?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in fact, I play Saturdays, and in fact, Adrian's been playing for the same team as well recently.
Yeah.
He's been a bit puffed out because he's a bit knackered,
Yeah.
But,
West Ham, isn't it?
Oh, I ain't been playing with them. I wish I could.
No, you support West Ham?
Oh, I support West Ham. I don't get much chance to go and see them, though, because I prefer to play. But, I still support West Ham.
Quite a lot of bands do play on the road, don't they? I mean, when I was lucky enough to be, 2 days in Tokyo with Deep Purple, and they had a little team going, and they got the local journalists, and they were playing football. A lot of people actually really do it, don't they? They love doing it.
Yeah, I love to play Purple as it happens. We played Rainbow a few years ago, about 3 years ago, and beat them. Just get it on you. And so I like to play them, we usually do really well against other bands. We haven't actually lost against other bands, but sometimes we play, when we're on the road against other teams, like local teams or something, and they play every week and all that. Of course, we've lost a couple of games, like we lost 6-3, I think, in Newcastle, and 5-4 in Nottingham or something. But we're against regular sides, so they play every week, so they've got an advantage, I suppose.
That's true. Playing rock and roll for a living, given that you don't get too screwed up doing silly things, keeps you very fit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. In fact, when I come off the road, I started going running every day, because I was sort of frightened of getting unfit, if you know what I mean, just sitting around, or just generally not being out there every night sort of playing or whatever, because it tends, you tend to run about a lot on stage, and, you build up a sweat or whatever, and you work it all off and sort of thing, so I could eat myself stupid when I'm on the road, but when I'm off the road, I sort of do the same things. I tend to, over a period of time, admittedly, but I tend to put on a bit of weight, so I go running and all that, try and keep it down a bit.
When you hit the stage, there's the five of you up there, right? But behind you, there's an incredible organised machine, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people on the road now, especially, say, in America, there's like 40 people or more, in the road crew and that. But, I mean, they're all professional, and they do their jobs really great, obviously without them, put on the shows we put on.
Because the shows that you do put on are they're spectacles. It's not just a show, it's a spectacle.
Yeah, I think it's important to put on a really good show, rather than just going to see a band and there's a few lights here and there. I think it's important to go and see something that knocks you out as well as the music as well. Obviously the music's the main thing, but it's better than just going and see some sort of, I don't know, just a few lights here and there and no backdrops and stuff like that. I think it's very important to have a show that people actually go away thinking, cool, blimey, what was that,
Yeah. But sometimes I think that the music is not the main thing. Sometimes, the music's got to be good, but people have got to know how to play. A lot of people would say Venom don't play, but at least they play very badly out of tune, but everybody likes it. Right? That's their style. But there's also a good show that goes along with it. I don't know if the music is the important thing in heavy metal or rock. I think the show is as important to the punter, to the geezer who wants to watch it, to the guy who's going for a really good night out.
Well, it is until you buy the albums, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got to take the albums home and listen to them, and it's like, if it's horrid, then you're not going to want to put it on again, are you?
That's true.
So
but when you play the album, you remember the live gig, don't you? And the lights, and the occasion, and the sound, and Eddie.
But then again, most people will buy an album before they go and see a band. Well, no, that's not really always right, but a lot of people will anyway buy an album first, then because they like the album, they check out a band live.
Or hear on the radio.
It works both ways, of course, but so they've got to like the music first.
Yeah.
Or having gone to see a band even without having heard the music, obviously they might be knocked out with the visuals, but if they buy the album and stick it on at home and it's not too good, then they're not going to buy another one, are they?
No, don't want to know, because money's in short supply in this day and age. Records aren't cheap.
Too right, you know, there's so many bands to choose from these days, you know.
That's true. Here's a band that used to be called Escape, now they're called Stratus. They're a band that are led by a fellow who used to be in Iron Maiden, Clive Burr. Their album is out on a new label called, what do you think? You used to work with a geezer.
Yeah, it's good. Really good.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, I like it.
There's a few really good British bands, I think, emerging.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, well, definitely Wasted. Definitely, you know.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to go to see them Tuesday at the Marquee because I think they're the best new British band anyway.
Yeah.
Also, I really like Queensryche from the States, but...
good singer, isn't he?
Yeah,
incredible
brilliant.
range, that guy.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. I think they're the two best, my favourite new bands at the moment.
You've worked with a lot of support bands over the years, right? As you go round and round the blooming world like a satellite. Who has been the band that you least like to work with? Who maybe you've chucked off the tour?
We haven't actually chucked anybody off the tour. There's not any band, to be honest, there isn't a band we say we least like to work with, because we tend to choose the bands that we have on tour with us. It's not just someone who's sort of thrown on the tour, you know, or something like that. We actually pick a band because we like them. So you know what you're going to, what you're into before you actually hit the road. So we tend to get on really well with the bands, and you know, because we like their music and that anyway. Do you always pick bands that play football? Wherever possible, yeah. That goes for a road crew as well. Whenever we get someone on the road crew, I always say, you know, can you play football, you know, for the team and all that. So if you want to be a roadie for Iron Maiden, make sure you can play football. My guest is Steve Harris, who plays the bass with Iron Maiden. Here's from Iron Maiden, and some of the money that's obviously going to be raised through the sale of your current single is actually going to help to fund support groups for young people who get involved in drugs, isn't it? Yeah, anti-heroin campaign and stuff. Yeah, because we come back from America, and it seemed that heroin seems to be becoming really fashionable again, and that's a bad thing, because it's, you know, it's a terrible drug, you know, and we just felt that we wanted to try and, you know, do something to help, you know, stop people taking it, you know. It's a killer, isn't it? It is a killer, definitely. It really is. I mean, it's killed a few friends of mine, and I'm sure that it's killed people that you've worked with, because the rock and roll industry is pretty vulnerable. Yeah, not anyone that I personally know, really, but, you know, I mean, it's definitely bad news. I mean, obviously, the worst thing about it at the moment, it seems to be happening with, like, younger kids and in schools and stuff, and that's terrible. And I mean, that has been happening, we're told, for quite some time in America, but it's becoming more predominant in this country, and that's frightening. It is frightening, yeah. So obviously 13, 14-year-olds, come on, you know. Yeah, makes you wonder how they get started on the stuff, really, you know. But somebody's pushing it, that's how. Well, yeah, but I mean, just start, you know, don't know how it actually starts in the first place, whether it's like smoking dope or whatever, you know. It's frightening, really. Lots and lots of letters I've received about the last gigs you did in this country. Greatly appreciated by everybody. I mean, really well appreciated. The nice thing about the rock audience is they actually write in and say, tell them, you know, that was a really great gig. And they don't just accept the gig as being a little bit of entertainment. To a rock audience, it's part of a lifestyle, isn't it? Oh, definitely, yeah. That's why we take so much care over, you know, like the gigs and the show and the albums and the packaging and the albums and everything, because it is the fans that obviously, you know, make the band, especially in this sort of music. You know? They're so loyal, it's unbelievable. It's amazing. It's brilliant, yeah. It is incredible. You've got a video out at the moment, which is of a gig, I think you did in San Diego or something? I was in LA, actually. It's coming out next week. Out next week? Yeah. That's for 90 minutes long? Yeah, 90 minutes, yeah. That's a long one. In stereo? Yeah. If people are lucky enough to have a stereo machine, they're not cheap, but... Yeah, you know. It's definitely stereo, yeah. Right, sir. When do you hit the road again? Not till middle of next year, because we're starting a new album in January. Definitely need a bit of a rest after this last tour. It sort of nearly killed us off, I think. So, you know, start work in January on the album, and probably start touring around about August, Europe first, then America and Japan, Australia. Round the world for the 5th time? Yep. You're a family man now? Oh yeah, got a little girl now, yeah. She's about 15 months now. And Bruce tells me you're really happy. Oh yeah. I was talking to him the other day, actually, for an overseas radio network, and he was saying, that's Steve. He said he's really family orientated now. He's really happy. He smiles all the time. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I feel really happy now, yeah. I'm going to start knocking a few more out soon.
Okay. Good luck, and thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Have you got a message for all the punters who are going, oh, I know him, I've heard him play the bass and seen him on the stage?
Well, you know, thanks for supporting us and keep you up. Cheers.
Okay. This is the Phantom of the Opera.